Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Pastor David Adams from the beautiful city of Houston, Texas. I am back for yet another episode of what we call the Encouragement Corner. If you've never been here before, listen, I want you to do me a favor, like, share, and also hit the bell to subscribe so you can be notified when we have new content coming forward. The platform here is basically not just to preach a sermon, but it's to come to really encourage you, to uplift you, and also provide you with some precepts and strategies to help you to overcome any challenges that you have in life. Also, I like to provide a safe place for you to land. This is not a place where we're really kind of judgy. This is an opportunity for you to kind of get a feel for some of you that really want to go to the next level of life. You kind of feel a tug in your life to do something greater. This is an opportunity for you to come and get some of these quality tips, may I say, an encouraging word and some really precepts and some ideologies that'll help you go to the next level. I just want to help you grow. I want to help you get to the next level in your life and whatever it may be, whether it's business, whether it's your marriage, whether it's in schooling, whether it's trying to get the best out of you if you're stuck in any area of your life. I want to thank you for those of you that have really been kind of tuning into the encouragement corners, tuning in to any content we put here on Fruit City Church TV. I want to thank you again for the support and all that you do. I want you to continue to kind of share these broadcasts with someone else to help us help someone else, and then we'll be able to kind of help people get to the level of life that they're desiring to be. Listen, I want to get to this April. And by the way, I hope you had a wonderful Easter, man. God was good. Fruit City Church, man. We seen some people get saved, man. We blessed some people with gas. We did some wonderful things at Fruit City Church. Listen, you have in the beautiful city of Houston, Texas, please stop by Fruit City Church, 3509 Collinsworth, Houston, Texas. Man, we'll be waiting to see you. Services start at 11 o'clock. Our next level service starts at 10 o'clock, and we move straight into it. We believe that if you're ever in that area, that we can be a blessing to you. Let's get right into this episode of the Encouragement Corner. This is called You Can't Put Me in the Box. This is for everybody. Listen, if you're here and you're one of those thinkers where God is really kind of impressing or embarking upon some new territory in your life, and you kind of got great ideas, this ideology, this perception that you want to do something greater, you're stuck in an area, this message is for you. And I want to come to encourage you. Don't let people who haven't never done anything put you in a box. Don't let anyone put you in a box, because we all have greater in us. We all have the finish line in which we're trying to get. And in order for us to do that, we got to be out the box thinkers. We got to get to the point to where our creative juices are currently flowing, and nothing on the outside can influence the elevation of what we're trying to do. Is very encouraged here at Encouragement Corner. Listen, I want to encourage you that to stay on with your mind, stay on with your creativity, because I believe God wants to set you up, do something amazing in your life. First thing I want to do today in this April broadcast, and we'll pick up in May and kind of do part 2 of this, but I just want to entitle this, You Can't Put Me in a Box. Anything you do in life successfully, I mean successfully, anything you do in life successfully, you must develop strategies for creative thinking. That's different than just a thought. That's different than just a thought. Creative thinking is different than just a thought. Anything you want to do in life successfully. Now, you can do some things in life unsuccessfully, but anything you want to do in life successfully, you must develop strategies for creative thinking. I'm reminded of scripture in the Bible that talks about success. Maybe Joshua chapter 1, verse 8. It says, the book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do according that is written in it. For then, when you are careful to do what you're meditating on, he says, and then you will make your way prosperous, and then you will achieve success. Notice, if you will, that success is achieved based off what you think on. So there's a critical process and strategies you must develop for creative thinking in order for you to get to the place called blessed in which you desire. Listen, but you can't allow people to put you in a box, because when people try to put you in a box, it stifles and it stops your thinking process. And then you'll begin to judge yourself based off what others do, what others think about you. And that's going to be a stopping point in your career. That'll be a stopping point in where you're trying to get. So anything you do in life successfully, you must develop strategies for creative thinking. It was the great Nelson Sergi that says, look upon what others do and possibly do something else, because what others do may not work for you. What others have done may not work for you. There's some things in this creative process that you got to do in creative thinking, is that you got to take everything in the process. In other words, you got to gather information, and you got to carefully cipher through information that's critical for you. Then you got to set up, because if you don't know where you're going, you'll never get to where you're trying to go. That's good right there. If you don't know where you're going, you'll never get where you're trying to go. Any successful person that's trying to go somewhere has to follow what they call a roadmap. They got to follow their roadmap. But just in case there's this construction, just in case there are roadblocks, you got to be able to make changes, to make adjustments on the way. We like to say here at Fruit City Church, we don't like to make excuses. We like to make adjustments. And that's what I want to tell you. When you're thinking outside the box, you got to be able to quit making excuses and start making adjustments. Do you know how many people never get to where they're trying to go because all their life they've made excuses? Mama, daddy, family, people wasn't behind them. Those are just excuses. They're true. It may be true, but those are excuses. But you can make adjustments. And when you make the proper adjustments, it gets you to the level of which you desire. But you got to think outside the box. Now, the road to creativity, this creative thinking, the road to creativity is getting outside the box, is getting out the box and living out the box. The road to creativity is getting outside the box, and thinking like any other mental process must be developed. And in all creative thinking, there is a process. So your thinking must be developed. In order to get out the box, your thinking must be developed. And in your thinking, there is a process. And the problem is, remember in the last episode, I think it was in the March episode, or we were talking about this process. Are you familiar with the process? That life is really a journey. It's not a destination. It's a journey. It's not a place to be. Life is always, it's a shifting. And this process is obtaining information after you obtain revelation. Attaining information after you attain revelation. Now, you've heard this, if those of you matriculated through Fruit City Church have heard many of my sermons or many of my encouragement, many of my teachings, or any of my podcasts, you would understand that first, in order to gain anything in life, any goal you're trying to achieve, that first must be revelation. Revelation is a revealing of information on the level in which you can discern it. Let me say that again. Revelation is a revealing of information on the level in which you can discern it. So even a 2-year-old, my 2-year-old granddaughter can get revelation. She can get revelation about something on the level in which she can discern, on the level in which she can decipher information. So in thinking, in the mental process, there is a thinking level. There's a process that has to go on. So I get revelation about something I want to do. Then once I get revelation, I got to gather information. Write this down, please. You get revelation, a reveal process on the level in which you can understand. Once you get that revealing process to the level you can understand, then you got to start gathering information. That's where the research come in. You start looking at the way things are done. Not always. The mistake most people make, listen to me closely, the mistake most people make in this process is they begin to look for people to copy. They begin to look for people to copy instead of looking for information to use. Let me say that again. The problem with most people is that, and I've made these mistakes. Listen to me. This is not anything new. You begin to look for people to copy instead of looking for information to use. And you got to get to the point where after you get revelation, You start gathering information. This is what most of us should have learned, or we matriculated through school, even from seventh grade or sixth grade, where we wrote research paper, where we begin to research information and start processing the research information in order to come up with the hypothesis or the thesis or the thing that we're trying to get. So here we go. We're right here at this process, and we understand that success does not happen by association only. There is a workable process that moves purposeful thinking outside of the box to the status quo, meaning you're just like somebody else, over the banks to the mundane, into the uncharted waters of creativity. If you're trying to go where nobody else is trying to go, you got to think like no one else has ever thought. Let me say that again. If you're sitting here today trying to go where no one else has gone before, you got to think outside the box like no one else has ever thought. In other words, uncharted water, that's what we call. Purposeful thinking outside the box is not being like the status quo or living among the banks of the mundane, but you got to get into the charted waters. In other words, what I would say is if you were in a swimming pool, I would tell you, you got to let go of the side of the bank, and you got to move into the pool in order to swim. And that's what you got to do in life, is that most of you, all of your life, may have gotten to the point where you think well, dream well, but you don't know how to obtain information after you've obtained revelation to get to the point where you're trying to do. But don't let anybody put you in a box, because if you're around the status quo, you'll become the status quo. If you're around people who have never done anything, you'll probably never do anything. If you're around people who can't think, you got to get around creative thinkers. You got to get around people who think outside the box, who's not afraid to let your mind go, who's not afraid to let your mind go. So believers are box thinkers until they're trained. And that's what I'm trying to do today, is that I'm trying to train and develop you to be different. Because once you're a believer, listen, you believe God, you believe he changed your life. All believers become box thinkers. They just think that that's it. All I need is God. Yeah, but God's trying to get you to a point to where you can obtain necessary information. Let me give you a quick definition of a box thinker. A box thinker is a person who has the mentality of the crowd, the status quo, the acceptance of statistics as law. Box thinkers like stereotypes as truths and conventional assumptions. They believe those as only the only approach that is as possible is this conventional ways. That's what a box thinker is. And the way I think catalyst stimulates my creativity. The way I think is outside the box. It is a catalyst. It's a beginning. It's a start that stimulates my creativity, or it's a chain that continues my choices. It's something that lifts me beyond the status quo, and it allows me to have experiences that I have never had before. That's what I'm trying to get you from. I'm trying to get you from not thinking like the mentality of the crowd, the status quo, accepting these stereotypes, conventional ways only. But I'm trying to get you to think where you get to the point where you're stimulated by a catalyst, that it be creativity will come, and it will change the confines and make your choices greater, and it would unlimit your experiences like none other. Let me give you these. Number one is this: perception is one reality. Write that down. Perception is one's reality. In other words, what you perceive basically is what you see every day. So in other words, in order for you to get away from what you perceive and what you perceive, you got to get outside the box and think. In other words, I cannot think based off of what I'm experiencing today. Is that good? Listen, because I cannot be where I'm trying to go. It doesn't look where I'm trying to go. But I got to think outside the way I look. That's what an outside the box thinker. A box thinker think that's as far as I can go is the way I look today. That's an outside the box thinker. But I'm trying to tell you, if God's trying to take you somewhere, then you got to look where that somewhere is in order for you to know how it looks when you get there. And there's a lot of people, you're afraid because of what you look like today. You're afraid to get beyond where you're trying to go. Perception is one reality. I'm trying to get you past what you see. Because what I've always told people this, and this is true, what God thinks about me is really important than what you think about me. That's critical, man. And if I haven't said anything to you today, I want to encourage you. What God thinks about you is better and is more important to what others think about you. I'm going to leave you with this. God thinks about you. He thinks about you in this way. And I'm going to use this scripture, 3 John chapter 2, 3 John 2 says, Beloved, I pray that in all respects that you may prosper, be in health, just as your soul prospers. That's the way God thinks of you. He wants you to prosper, even if your situation today don't look like you're going to prosper. Listen, I want you to become an out-the-box thinker. And I want you to remember, don't let anyone put you inside of the box. Listen, thank you for tuning in to this April broadcast of Encouragement Corner. My name is Pastor David L. Adams, the beautiful city of Houston, Texas. This is the Encouragement Corner, my friend. You be blessed. See you real soon.